discuss one beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita 5.22, 5th chapter 22nd verse, and this verse will teach us how to exactly interact with this material world, because anyway we have to live in this material world. Even if we are devotees, we are living in this material world. We have to see things, we have to eat, we have to taste, we have to smell, we have to hear. We are constantly in touch with this material world. But the question is, how do we interact with this material world without getting entangled in it? So Krishna is recommending something, and he is saying in this verse, yehi samsprasharja bhoga dukh yonyavate adyantavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Krishna is saying, well, yehi samsparshaja bhoga. If we samsparshaja, sparsh means come in contact, sam means completely come in contact. If we come in contact with this material world, bhoga, with the sense of enjoyment, I mean to say, as a devotee, we also need things. We need this phone, we need this chair, we need clothes. We have to come in contact with this material world. There is no other alternative. You have to come in contact with air, sunlight, isn't it? You are breathing. So, but Krishna is saying, don't touch this material world with the spirit of enjoyment. So, like for example, if a vessel is hot and if you touch it, your hands will burn. But if you wear a glove, if you wear gloves, insulating gloves, then you can touch, you can pick it up. But if you touch directly, there is a problem. Similarly, if you interact with this material world directly with the spirit of enjoyment, then there is a big problem. And what's the problem? Dukh yonya evate. Yonya means to produce, dukh means miseries. If you come in contact with this material world with the spirit of enjoyment, or in other words, if you enjoy this material world, dukh yonya, it will give birth to miseries. In beginning, it might appear interesting and enjoyable. I mean to say, if you eat ice cream, it's so tasty. But in the end, Krishna says, and in the beginning, both, it will give you miseries. In the end, first of all, in the end it will give miseries. Ade ante bantha kaunteya. It will give birth to miseries. Now, at least in the end, if you keep on eating ice creams, and it will be tasty, but in the end you might get diabetes, or your teeth might get spoiled, or some other disease will come. If you indulge in eating ice creams with the spirit of enjoyment. What happens with the spirit of enjoyment? You actually overindulge in things. Eating some sweet which is offered to Krishna, God, is not bad. It's good. It's prasad. But if you take that sweet with the spirit of enjoyment, I want to enjoy this prasad, then you will overindulge in it. Even if you don't overindulge in it, still it will give birth to miseries, because it will produce attachment for that particular thing. Rather than producing attachment to God, you will be attached to that sweet, that prasadam, or that ice cream, and that attachment will distract your mind when you try to fix the mind on God while chanting, and then that will produce miseries, because you are not, as soon as you are not in touch with God, that's a rule, we will suffer. Externally we might not suffer, we might have good bungalows and car, you might say I am not suffering. Internally there will be stress, anxiety, tension. That's a problem. And then Krishna says, Ade anta vanta kaunteya. This happiness we get when we enjoy the material world, that has that is very temporary, that has a beginning and an end. Anything, I mean to say, if you eat a sweet, it will appear tasty for some time, but then after some time you get bored of. So Krishna says this is temporary anyway. This is temporary. Why you're after something which is temporary? Be after something which is permanent. That's wise, that's wisdom. Adyante bante kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Buddha means wise people. Ramate means they don't they don't indulge themselves into this spirit of enjoyment, into this phenomena. They understand enjoying this material world is not really enjoyable in the end and eternally. Actually using using this material world to serve God, that is enjoyment. If you try to enjoy this material world, you will not get enjoyment. It's like example is given. If you try to so if you try to catch your own shadow, you will not so you will never be able to catch your own shadow, isn't it? If sun is behind you and the shadow is falling in front of you, you try to catch it, you will never be able to catch it. But if you go towards the sun, shadow will follow you. Similarly, if we try to serve God, that in itself is an enjoyable process. That's the whole trick there. That's the whole trick. If you don't enjoy, you'll get enjoyment. that's the secret. I might say this is crazy, this is contradictory, but that's the whole thing. That is the point which Krishna is trying to explain us, and that is Krishna. Why Krishna is want to explain us? Because it's not logical. It doesn't appear logical. It's logical, but it doesn't appear logical. If you don't try to enjoy, then then you will enjoy. Come on. No, that is real enjoyment. Now, renunciation of enjoying spirit is real enjoyment. That is why the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita is what's that? Perfection of renunciation, sannyasa yoga, isn't it? Something like that. In Sanskrit, it is like that. Sannyasa yoga, or yeah, actually, I just wanted to this moksha sannyasa yoga. So that's the whole point. Perfection of renunciation. What is the perfection of renunciation? It is not renouncing your home, your clothes, your children, your family. It is renouncing your enjoying spirit. So that's the whole point there. So that is why this verse is trying to help us understand a beautiful secret of this universe. And the secret is not that you keep on thinking to become rich and you'll become rich. That's not the secret. The secret, no. The beautiful secret of this material universe is, don't try to enjoy. Be happy in the service of God, and enjoyment will follow you. Be satisfied in the service of God. All the enjoyment which you can't even dream of, it will follow you. Vedeshu yageshu tapasu 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶 daneshu yatpunya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat phalam idam. Krishna says, whatever result you get by reading Vedas, by doing yagyas, by doing tapasya, by doing whatever pious activities, whatever happiness you get by doing all these things, even more than that you will get if you connect to me, if you serve me. That's a good proposal. So Krishna is trying to warn us here. Krishna is trying to warn us and kindly help us remember this, understand this, and keep it in our memory, that don't try to, Prabhupada used to say, don't try to enjoy independently. Nobody is saying you not to enjoy, but enjoy in the service of God. That's the whole point. Just like a mother finds it so enjoyable, so sweet to serve her child. She's 24 hours looking after her child and serving him, and that's her life. Similarly, we are 24 hours thinking of God and serving Him. That's our life. That is where real enjoyment lies, real satisfaction lies. So that is His verse. Yahi sam sparsha ja bhoga. Ja means to bond. Sparsh means to come in contact. Sparsh means to come in contact. I mean to say, as soon as you touch fire, you will burn. As soon as you touch this material world, by touch I mean either see it, hear it, taste it, feel it, touch. By touch I mean all these things, sense perception. As soon as you touch this material world, what's going to happen? Just like fire burns, it will burn you. So it will burn you. Burn you means it will entangle you in attachments. But there is a technique to touch this material world. We cannot not touch this material world. We have to, in fact, as a congregation, with family and with jobs, you have to interact with this material world. So, but Krishna is telling there is a technique, I will tell you, and the technique is you touch this material world not with the spirit of enjoyment, not with bhoga, but with yoga, but with the spirit of service, and that is the perfection of life. That is what we have to practice. You have to choose. Now see, Krishna consciousness, we can chant 16 rounds, we can do our sadhana, that is very nice, but when we finish our rounds, then we have then this material world. Even if you are preaching, this material world, you are cooking, this material world, 24 hours we are touched with this material world. So, we are, with chanting Hare Krishna, we have to learn how to come in contact with this material world, otherwise we will get burnt off. So, how? Krishna says yes, with the spirit of service. That is the whole point. This is what Srila Prabhupada taught us. This is what our acharyas have taught us. This is the secret of Bhagavad Gita, the secret of devotion. That is the whole point. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much.